One thing I hear a lot these days is, "Help me, oh my God, help me!" Another thing I hear a lot is, movies are bad now. But what does that mean? Does that mean that movies look bad? Does it mean that they're not interesting anymore? Or does it mean that movies are becoming less of an expressive art form and more of a product for studios to churn out and exploit? Well, all these things can be true at once. I've spent time talking about the decline in movie quality here on this channel, and I can agree that the general quality of movies and TV has dropped thanks to things like the streaming era. But I thought I knew what a bad movie was. I thought I knew the signs of a poor quality film. Nostalgia bait, live action adaptation, muted colors, live action adaptation sequels. More original work! I screamed into that light up box we call it TV. But you see, I forgot what actually makes a bad movie. Sometimes a movie can just be terrible.
Here we go again.
A film made by someone so untalented and unskilled that they not only would be better at virtually anything else they set their mind to, but they'd also be doing a huge service to all of humanity. Citizen Vigilante came out recently, and I can safely say that it is one of the worst movies I will ever see during my time on this earth. After I watched this movie, I was genuinely excited to just watch any commercial, because I knew that there would at least be more of a creative effort involved in that than in whatever this was. The kicker is that this movie is also one of the most blatant displays of right-wing, anti-migrant, pro-white propaganda there could possibly be in media. And it's working. A movie with a message that says migrants are assaulting our women, starring Armie Hammer, a woman assaulter, is doing more than just gaining mainstream attention. It's being used as a call for violence against black and brown immigrants everywhere. And I'm left here thinking, I thought I knew what a bad movie was. Boy, was I wrong. Before I get into the review of Citizen Vigilante, I want to talk about its background and the context leading up to it being made. But some of you are probably just here for the review, which in that case, you needy bastards can skip to the timestamp on screen. Gosh, I'm so generous and I care so deeply about my viewers' needs. If that's not a better sell to subscribe, then I don't know what is. Citizen Vigilante was made by Uwe Boll, a German filmmaker with so many movies under his belt. You gotta think to yourself, how has he not figured this out by now? Guys, if I had directed over 30 feature films and my highest critic score was only at 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'd consider myself a complete and utter failure. I mean, even Wikipedia agrees with me. Released theatrically, the films were critical and commercial failures. His 2005 Alone in the Dark adaptation is considered one of the worst films ever made. Do you know how bad something has to be considered the worst of its kind? That's like Hitler levels of bad. But with Citizen Vigilante, Uwe sought to turn it around. You see, he had one more card up his sleeve, one that never fails. The right-wing grift card.
I think we lost grip on movies we were used to. I grew up with Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Clockwork Orange, whatever. All these movies are not getting done anymore because there is like a woke police.
Yes, films like Taxi Driver and Goodfellas aren't getting made anymore because of the woke police. Are you saying you're ACAB, Uwe? So sure, you were able to get around the woke police, which I would have loved to know how. They're very difficult to outsmart. And you got to make your Taxi Driver. Put simply, this is essentially Uwe saying that this movie is his magnum opus. As I described in the intro, Citizen Vigilante is just a straight up piece of propaganda that pushes the narrative that immigrants are violent and thus are increasing our crime rates.
Or also random crime, as we see with these rapes, with the knife stabbings. That's not like individual little cases. They're all over Europe, into the thousands every year.
In order to draw as much emotion out of the viewer as he can, Uwe tactfully conveys this messaging in the movie by repeatedly showing white women who are killed, raped, and assaulted by these migrants. So this movie is telling us that not only are immigrants violent, but they are abusing our women and we need to do something about it. And who else do you get to play the lead role of the person that does something about it? Other than alleged rapist Armie Hammer.
This film came my way via email. I got an email from Uwe that had the script in it, and he said, look, I'm making this movie. I want you to do it. And he was the first person to ask in a long time. I just started crying. I was so happy that someone was going to give me a chance to do what I love to do.
I was so happy that someone was going to overlook the several sexual assault and rape allegations I had against me and ask me to be in their movie. I thought I was so evil that no one was going to look my way again, but Uwe saw a second chance at me. May I remind you that back in 2021, Armie Hammer was up against several sexual assault and domestic abuse accusations, where one of the accusers even said that Hammer would say things to her like, "I want to eat your ribs." Chilling stuff. He defended himself against the allegations by saying, "I had a very intense and extreme lifestyle. I would scoop up these women, bring them into this whirlwind of travel and sex and drugs and big emotions flying around. And then as soon as I was done, I'd just drop them off and move on to the next woman, leaving that woman feeling abandoned and used. The things Armie Hammer was accused of were so evil that even when he defends himself, he can only make himself sound slightly less evil. This is the guy that Uwe Boll decided he wanted as the face of his movie about getting justice for abused women. Before even getting into the actual review of the movie, this information should already discredit anything it's trying to say. And if you're wondering why Armie Hammer, the same person who acted in a movie like Call Me By Your Name, would take part in such an obviously evil film like this, besides just being desperate? Well, actually, as I was writing this script, news stories were being reported about Armie's initial reaction to the film. And it turns out it really was just him being desperate. In the latest Puck newsletter from Matthew Baloney, a source within Hammer's team, claimed that the actor cried when he first saw the film in full. The first time he saw it, he was in tears, they told Baloney. He called me and said, "Fuck, this is hateful. Disgusting." Hammer himself touched upon this in a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, saying that he only received a 50-page script after being approached to star in Citizen Vigilante. "I was like, where's the rest?" he said, before impersonating Boll's response. No, we just go and shoot and have fun. We want you to be great." He also said in the same interview that he was so desperate to get back into acting, he would have done a fucking cat food commercial. They also said Hammer was paid approximately $250,000 for this role. Despite being unhappy about the final results, the source indicated that Hammer would reprise his role for the sequel if the price was right. It would have to be life-changing money. Everyone has a breaking point, they said. To go from "it was hateful, disgusting" to "everyone has a breaking point" is so funny. Like, I get that he only had access or whatever to a portion of the script, but there's no way he didn't know what the movie was about when they were filming. You're shooting immigrants on set. I mean, if Armie Hammer wanted to do a PR cleanup, he shouldn't have admitted to not asking any questions before saying yes to the role in virtually all of his interviews.
My attorney called me and goes, "You just got an offer on a movie." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, Uwe wants you to go to Croatia and shoot a movie." And I was like, "Say yes." He's like, "You want to know how much they're paying you?" I was like, "I don't care. Say yes. Let's go."
Hey, Armie's not doing it for the money, okay? He's doing it for the craft. And sure, after he watched the movie, he thought it was hateful and gross, but while filming, he had such a fun time.
Ended up having like a really amazing fun time. Like the way Uwe shoots movies, I'm gonna talk about you like you're not here. It is so fun.
So, Armie is either a sucker, desperate, or both. I mean, it seems like this was the perfect down on his luck, willing to do anything lead star that Uwe Boll was looking for. Uwe just needed a vessel for his hateful rhetoric, and Armie was that. And of course, and regardless of the fact that an alleged assaulter was attached to the cast, this is the exact kind of rhetoric right-wing pundits are trying to amplify. I mean, just look at Jonathan Majors in the upcoming Daily Wire movie. Patrick Bet-David took to Twitter to say, "Watched Citizen Vigilante last night. There's a reason it's the #1 movie on Apple. It taps into the rage millions of people feel when their own government won't protect them or their kids."
It's very gory. She bleeds to death in front of him, and this guy becomes a citizen vigilante.
Wow.
"I want justice. I want justice." He says, "That's all you have to say. You will get justice." Wow. One by one, kills everybody in the family.
Wow. Everybody in the family.
The mom, the daughter, the dad, the son.
Guys, yes, these are not real people. And this is a recurring issue that I'm gonna have to keep bringing up, which is that this movie incites violence and gets people riled up, which obviously means that the propaganda is working as it should. And Republicans are not hiding the fact that it is propaganda. There are Republicans that are fully self-reporting by agreeing that this movie is terrible, and they only like it for the messaging.
So while the film has some problems, from a craft standpoint, some of the scenes just don't work. The writing is quite bad in places, if we're being honest. It does accomplish something unique and worthwhile.
Which is, say it with me, defaming an entire group of people by painting every single one of them as a villain. This puts money in my pocket. I mean, helps white people everywhere, including me. Daily Wire pundit Matt Walsh isn't the only one self-reporting here. This Twitter user said, "Yes, it's a shit film. Script, acting, continuity, craft, it's all mental and incoherent. The critics aren't wrong, but the gap is just an audience saying, we want stories the anointed class refused to tell, and we don't give a tiny toss if they come wrapped in the worst filmmaking you've ever seen." Right, okay, sure. We don't care how shitty the movie is as long as it's spewing our racist and illegitimate rhetoric. I'm all in. And you know it's racist and illegitimate rhetoric when Elon Musk is promoting. Elon streamed the entire movie on X for 48 hours as a way of promoting it to his 240 million followers. That led to the movie securing international distribution shortly thereafter. So, he's kind of the reason it gained any international recognition whatsoever. Which means that he's also the reason I'm talking about it in the first place. Go figure. So let's talk about it. The movie starts off with a quote. All behavior can be traced back to instincts. When justice is denied, instincts turn to vengeance. Anonymous. I mean, they definitely left that anonymous for a reason, right? This is a sentence Thanos would say before killing half of all life. And after that, the location card is shown, which reveals that we are in Europe. Somewhere in the general area of the whole of Europe. Pick a country and they're probably in that country. It's like GeoGuessr, but it's a movie you're watching. Yay. After this, we are shown the first scene of the movie, which is a mom and her son grocery shopping. It's during the scene that we get the backstory for Armie Hammer's character, and we're told why he has the motives he has for the rest of the movie. So him and his mom had just finished grocery shopping and were walking home when all of a sudden, someone comes up with a knife and brutally stabs his mother in the neck. After stabbing, the armed assailant just runs away, scaring bystanders because he's a villain and villains are scary. It's important to note that this stabber didn't even rob the mother. He didn't take her purse. He didn't ask for her wallet. He just stabbed her for the love of the game. Now, obviously, child Armie Hammer here is upset that his mother is bleeding out in front of him, or he's supposed to be upset. Mom. I know the intention is that we're supposed to feel angry for this mother and her son because what I assume was an immigrant just stabbed her in the neck, but the kid is not selling it. I quite frankly don't feel anything at all, and instead think the son actually wanted his mom to die since she didn't let him get candy at the store.
No, baby, it isn't enough. Come on, whatever.
That's it, I'm hiring the assassin. Quick sidebar, obviously I won't be showing it, but this movie is very gory and very brutal. I mean, hey, how are they gonna get people angry at immigrants if they weren't realistic about the violent nature of immigrants? Anyway, after the scene, we get a cutaway to an Adobe stock-ass news graphic where a news anchor with a poorly synced voiceover is talking about the stabbing and how immigrant violence is sweeping the country.
The nation is gripped by fear as a wave of shock sweeps the country.
Which country is it? I don't know.
Her mother was murdered in broad daylight in front of her child by another suspected undocumented migrant. Parents were afraid to let their children play outside, and many women avoid venturing out after dark altogether.
Wait, really? That's how we're gonna cut to the credits? That's how we're gonna do it? Okay, awesome. After our title card, we're brought back to the same news anchor who is now talking about the citizen vigilante himself.
Instead, it lies with an enigmatic figure, the vigilante citizen, who's delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide.
Except, okay, how? This was the same anchor that was just covering the story about the murder of his mom, and she hasn't aged a day. What is she, some kind of European vampire? What is going on? I'll tell you after talking to you about the sponsor of today's video. When analyzing how disinformation, financial crimes, or digital conflicts operate, there's a massive underlying vulnerability that is not talked about enough. Your personal data. Right now, thousands of companies are quietly aggregating and trading your full name, home address, phone number, and relatives' details without you ever knowing. This global privacy crisis isn't just about creepy ads, it is a security threat. Criminals buy this exposed data to craft hyper-convincing phishing scams, open fraudulent credit lines, or target people at their actual physical households. Guys, I am notorious for getting scammed and losing my money. In college, I thought I had a sugar mama. It turns out, she didn't want any sugar, she just wanted my money. Most recently, I had what I thought was my bank let me know that someone spent $10,000 of my money at a gun store in Tampa, Florida. When I tried to ask them more questions, they told me to put all of my money into a Cash App account. It turns out that someone didn't put a scam curse on me. Scams are just getting better. That's why I use Incogni, the sponsor of today's video. The setup took me minutes. I created an account, authorized them to act on my behalf, and let them go to work. Looking at my dashboard after a few weeks, it's startling to see the sheer volume of data networks that held my profile, and exactly how many successful removals Incogni has forced on my behalf. Crucially, they've just rolled out a new custom removal feature on their unlimited and family unlimited plans. If you find your private info or home address exposed on any specific people search engine or website, you don't have to trace down their compliance department. You simply flag the URL to Incogni, and their privacy agents will manually step in to handle the objections and get you wiped from that site. At the end of the day, bad actors can't harm you if they can't find you. Take your data off the market and protect your identity. Go to incogni.com/Saji and use code Saji to get 60% off an annual plan. You can scan the QR code right here on screen or click the link in the description below to claim your discount. Now back to the video. What is she, some kind of European vampire? What is going on? This is just one of the consistent filmmaking problems that happens in this movie, which is the editing. I genuinely have no idea where I am in the movie at any point that I'm watching. Different scenes take place before or after they actually happen, and you just have to hope and pray that you can catch it. Otherwise, you're lost in this general European hellscape forever. All of this begins to make more sense when you hear how Uwe actually shot the film.
And he calls me in my hotel room and he goes, okay, so you're here. Tomorrow we go shoot. And I go, all right, what are we going to shoot? He goes, whatever we want. We go through the city, we go shoot here, we go shoot there, we go to this building, we go find a parking lot, we find a whatever, we just go shoot. And I was like, so this is just like running and gunning. And he's like, yeah, it's just going to be you, me, and a cameraman.
As Army said, we just did it, you know, so that, why not?
Why not? I don't know. It was my assumption that as a filmmaker, you would want to make a good movie. But I guess I was wrong. So, okay, the vampiric news anchor that lives forever introduces us to Citizen Vigilante. And this segues to the public's response to him as well, which brings up my favorite scene in the whole movie.
That guy out there, wow.
Have you heard of this vigilante crime fighter guy over in Europe? He's like the real deal. This man is taking out the trash. I think we need somebody over here in the States like that. What do you guys think? Comment down below, let me know.
Susan, I need to see you in more things. I need to see you in something else. She's outpacing every other actor in this movie, yes, including Armie Hammer. Susan was so good they had to cut down Otto's scene.
That guy out there, wow.
You heard.
She only had 10 seconds in this movie, but boy did she make them count. Also, I didn't add that subscribe animation, but feel free to subscribe. It's after this that we get our first look at the Citizen Vigilante himself, where he introduces himself through a little monologue/montage.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear it directly from me.
I mean, they've only been good things, but sure, let's hear it.
You are all nothing but playthings. Every soldier who's gone off to war thinking that their death was for an idea, or that their sacrifice was important for society, has been played.
I'm a plaything that's been played? Yo, can we get the sex offender off my screen, please? I'm fucking tired of him. Armie gives us a little speech in this green-ass room explaining his actions and why he's chose the life he's chosen. This monologue goes on for 3 minutes. For 3 minutes, I'm forced to stare into a green abyss and listen to a fascism manifesto while watching an abuser half-heartedly work out and play with his guns. This brings up problem 2 of Uwe's filmmaking, which is the pacing. Every scene in this movie is so goddamn long. That in combination with the bad editing I mentioned earlier makes me feel like I'm lost in time. Anyway, the reason that Armie is working out and playing with his guns is because he's expecting attackers. But not only has he been preparing for them by doing crutches, he's also got a secret weapon too. Darkness.
What happened to the lights?
What happened to the lights? You closed the door to the only source of light available. Okay, I want to skip ahead to a scene with Armie, which, by the way, we still have no idea what this character's name is, just to let that be known. Anyway, our vigilante is on a bus when all of a sudden a group of troublemaking teenagers get on. Except they don't have their tickets.
Hey, guys, your tickets. Fuck you. Guys, you did not pay your tickets. It's $150 per person. Fuck up and drive.
I love how they made the evil teenagers a diverse group of kids, because we all know woke diversity is evil. Also, I know a boomer made this movie because only a boomer writes teenage kids like they are the most evil people on the planet. Anyway, of course, Armie has to say something here.
Everyone on this bus has somewhere they have to be, and for some of us it's urgent, so please resolve your issues and go drive the bus. Which I understand. It's just the thing that I will not continue driving the bus without everyone having tickets on it.
The kids refuse to pay, and clearly Armie has somewhere important to go, so he begrudgingly pays for the kids' tickets because he's still an upstanding citizen that ultimately wants to do what's right, with of course also making sure he teaches these good-for-nothing children a lesson.
Alright, pay attention, let me explain this to you. If you get onto a bus and you don't pay a ticket, if you go to the movie theater, if you grab a banana at a grocery store and you don't pay, eventually the cost of everything will go up.
Wait, what?
If 10% doesn't pay, the cost will go up 10% to cover the loss. And that's not fair.
What? He's saying stealing is wrong because it'll cause inflation? Why wouldn't you just say that stealing is wrong because stealing is wrong? Why are we bringing capitalist economics into it? And remember, children, stealing is bad because then everything will get more expensive for everyone else, so we'll all have to start stealing too. Oh, did you think this scene was over? Well, it's not, because the next thing Army does is he pulls out a gun on this child.
You're gonna look back at this moment and realize that it is the luckiest you have ever been.
Dude, I'm sorry, I didn't know inflation was that big of a deal. This scene gives us our perfect read on who Army's character is. An emotionless, murderous psychopath who's also a by-the-book capitalist. A conservative's wet dream. We haven't really gotten a lot of information or scenes of Army carrying out any violent acts on immigrants yet, but in this scene, he's visiting a patient who was brutally abused by one.
What do you want to happen?
What do you mean?
The men who did this to you. What do you want to happen to them?
I want them to go to jail for the rest of their lives.
And they might. Of course, we won't know till the end of the trial, and that could take years. And of course, you'll have to participate in that trial, telling the story of what those men did to you over and over in a room full of people who are going to call you a liar.
This character wants to kill immigrants so bad that he's re-traumatizing this lady just to give him permission to do so. So this is the method of the civilian vigilante. This is it. He finds people who were abused or assaulted by immigrants and guilts them into giving him permission to kill the abusers. Like, what is even the point of going to them to ask? It's not like he wasn't gonna do it if the victims didn't give him permission. 2 seconds later, he walks out of the hospital and he's watching videos of people glazing his ass.
I left this guy.
He doesn't give a shit. So just to give you a better idea of how bad the editing in this movie is, there's a whole scene of Armie Hammer giving another monologue. Yay. And while he's doing that, the European police are driving to his house to SWAT him. And while he's giving the monologue, another Armie Hammer is preparing for the SWAT team. And while those two Armie Hammers are coexisting at what I can only assume is the same time because I haven't been told otherwise, a third Armie Hammer shows up at a brothel with a bunch of half-naked women. So this is my dissection of genius director Uwe Boll, his editing, all right? What I think is going on here is that the first army was getting ready for the police to come SWAT him, but they were taking a really long time. So he went to go film a quick YouTube video. Been there. And then he finished the YouTube video and the police still hadn't arrived yet. So he went to go prepare some more. But then they took longer. I guess they're driving from out of state. Which state? I don't know. So to blow off even more time, Armie Hammer decided to go to a brothel, which is how we're here now, which is how we're in a brothel. And this is probably up there for one of the worst scenes in the movie. And that's saying a lot because there's not a single good scene in this movie. Except for Susan. I love you, Susan.
What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know.
Armie arrives at a brothel, which, judging by how the director was talking about how they filmed this movie, yes, it was a run-and gun. Yes, we were shooting the run-and gun. We just grabbed the camera and were shooting. That's how he was describing it. Anyway, I'm fairly certain that these are real sex workers and not actresses. Armie finds a lady he wants to do it with, and they go in a room and start undressing. And then she starts to give him sloppy toppy. And you can't see it, but boy can you hear it. They also have sex and stuff too. Now, I have a few questions, okay? Just a couple. In a movie where we're trying to bring justice to women who have been abused, why the fuck are we letting an alleged abuser have sex with women in the movie? I had to see Armie Hammer's moan face. Are you kidding me? This is crossing a line I did not even imagine you could have. Not only does it delegitimize this movie, even more so, but it cancels out anything hypothetically good this character represents. I don't have a problem with sex work. In fact, I think sex workers are awesome. I have a problem with an alleged sex offender that doesn't get punished for his crimes and instead gets to play a character that has a really intimate sex scene that doesn't even provide anything for the movie. This scene does nothing. It's just gross. I just don't like it. Now, there is one redeeming thing about this scene, and it's when Armie spots mold on the ceiling.
What it is?
I wish this was a joke. They stop having sex so he can go and inspect the mold.
When you let clients shower in the bathroom after you're done, you open the window?
No.
Why? If you let them shower and it gets hot, the steam builds up. And you get mold in the room.
Well, as it turns out, Armie's character actually owns this building.
But why you care?
Because I own the building.
You own the building? Wow. Really?
That was my reaction too. That's right, he's a landlord. He is literally a landlord. That is his legal occupation in this movie. You know what a better name for this movie would have been? Civilian vigilante landlord. Anyway, they start fucking again, and Army looks back at the mold, and it looks like he's like starts getting more turned on by just looking at it. This movie is truly one of a kind. But don't worry, he pays her for her work because he's a capitalist and thinks you deserve to get paid as long as you work for it. So yes, now we know more about Army's character. Again, he's an emotionless, murderous psychopath who's a by-the-book capitalist, and he's also a landlord who owns brothels so he can have sex anytime he wants. What was his name again? Oh yeah, I don't know. Anyway, roll that train stock footage. The next scene is one of my favorites in the movie, and it's another example of the director trying to show how nuanced the main character truly is. That despite how cold and calculated he is, he ultimately is trying to do the right thing. The scene starts off with the police chief, who's the other main character and was introduced earlier. He is trying to hunt down and capture the vigilante, but he does nothing in this movie, so I didn't feel the need to talk about him. I just found this scene funny.
I saw you on TV. You're that guy from Interpol.
TV, yes. But tonight I'm just a man having a drink. Can't work all the time.
Nobody really wants you to catch this vigilante, you know?
We don't want society to collapse.
Who cares?
Who cares? Girl, you brought it up. The Interpol chief and Army happen to be in the same bar where Army is paying very close attention to something happening at a table in the middle of the room.
The hotel room it is. There you
One
go.
drink with us.
Dude, I love that shit. That's awesome.
me when I'm a straight guy hanging out with the opposite sex. Dude, man, I love that shit. That shit's awesome. I mean, these guys are suspicious, right? Well, don't worry, because Army's got his eye on them. And not even a second later, they roofie the girls' drinks. So what does Army do? Well, watch.
Then we gonna get them to the hotel. You guys with the two pretty girls that just went to the bathroom? Yeah, what's up? Someone's giving them a hard time over there. You want to just come in? Are you serious? He's fucking joking. A weird joke. What? Okay. But if you're fucking with us, I'm gonna come back and smash up your fucking face, dude. Yeah.
Damn, this guy is a bad vigilante. This guy clocked his lie immediately. Well, what does Army do while the guys are checking on the women? He switches around their shots so that the men drink the drugged drinks instead. The men pass out and Army explains to the girls what happened, like the gentleman he is.
I guess have you girls to go.
Why?
These two guys, when you were in the bathroom, they put something in your drink.
Are you serious?
I switched them. That's what's going on. They drank them. Hence, sleeping time.
See, the civilian vigilante brings justice to all women who have been wronged by the patriarchy. At the end of the day, this is really just an anti-men movie. Do you guys remember the SWAT team that was driving to Army's house about, 20 minutes ago? Well, they've arrived now, and Army, I guess, made it back from the bar to fit back inside his giant bulletproof box with two guns sticking out, where he's safe and sound and can just murder all the police. Oh, wait, he's anti-patriarchy and anti-cop? Touche, Uwe. Oh, and the police chief is there too. I didn't add this music in post. This is the final cut of the movie, by the way. I'm sorry. Did he just sigh? Your entire militia is getting mowed down, and it looks like you're just disappointed in them. Now, obviously, this scene and the bar scene are two different scenes entirely. It's just such a weird choice to put them back to back. Like, when in relation to the bar scene is this? Is it before? Is it after? Again, for the fourth or fifth time, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit because we're finally at the part where we get the name of our main character, and I can finally stop saying Army Hammer. And it happens when Army decides to come check on all of his properties because, again, he's a landlord.
What's the matter? Mr. Sanders.
Mr. Sanders, his name is Mr. Sanders. I've never been more happy hearing a name in my life. Although we didn't get a first name, so I caved in and just looked it up. His full name is Michael Sanders. Also, it's so funny that this dude's got like spidey senses because Michael didn't make a sound when he came in and no one said anything. He just felt a disturbance in the force.
What's the matter?
Anyway, there's nothing else important that happens in this scene. Sure, they talk about more of Michael's backstory, but we're halfway through the movie and I'm just learning his name. I don't really care at this point. Oh, wait, actually, sorry. There is one more thing that happens in this scene. It's revealed that Michael is also an immigrant.
I mean, well, since you are not a registered citizen here, nor did you enter the country legally.
That's right. So not only is he an immigrant, but he's an illegal one too. Gosh, that's rich. He is literally just taking advantage of the real estate in whatever European country he's in.
After all, they will probably roll out the red carpet for you and even grant you citizenship without asking any question. I'm an American, Owen. I'm just here on an extended vacation.
So he's taking advantage of the system to essentially steal housing in a foreign country, which is no different than what conservatives claim immigrants are doing. The only difference is this immigrant is white. Skipping ahead a little bit more, we get the diverse group of bullies again. And if we thought it was crazy when Michael pulled out a gun point blank at this kid on the bus, then get ready for this next scene. Because he tases them. He fucking tases them. I didn't feel like doing a build up for that because it's just that fucking crazy. The group of kids were harassing some other kids, so Michael Sanders took it upon himself to not only tase the kids, but also snap their hands off of their arms. You murder and hurt whoever you please. But these kids can't bully another child. I don't know. It seems like you're being a little bit of a hypocrite here. I don't think that pushing around another kid or not paying your bus ticket is as bad as, again, murdering whoever you want because you think they deserve it. Which, by the way, there hasn't been much immigrant hunting yet, but don't worry because Uwe was saving that for the end. Michael does his thing where he pretends to be a door-to-door salesman and asks people if they want justice. He finds the victim who was raped and asks for their permission to kill the assaulters and sets off to do so. Not before kidnapping the judge that let the rapists free. He does this by drugging him with heroin and driving to an undisclosed location where he stages the judge's death to look like a suicide. Okay, sweet. Now he's ready to kill the rapist and his family. First, though, he's just gotta walk over to their apartment. No rush or anything. Justice doesn't have an expiration date. Yeah, that's fine. We have all day. I'm gonna go make some lunch real quick. Actually, I got some extra time now, I guess. Okay, I'm actually back from making lunch. Oh, and he's still walking. Okay, cool. Still going. Is he gonna take the elevator? Or I hope not the stairs. So he finally gets there and interrupts a Middle Eastern family enjoying their dinner. The family freaks out because of the gun, so to calm everyone down, he shoots the kid in the leg. Great, that did the job. He has them all sit down to tell them why assaulting someone is bad and why what the son of this family did is bad. The sister also apparently posted on her social media that the victim deserved it.
For empathy, in fact, I think you said that she deserved to be raped.
What I mean is that they dress wrong and just make boys horny with their mini skirts. They show their legs and breasts.
You wrote that she deserved it.
I will delete it.
That's right. This Israeli actress is playing a Middle Eastern caricature. In fact, this whole family is playing a caricature that is using the Quran and the Muslim faith to defend rape and to defend the assault of innocent women. This is obviously an inaccurate representation being used as Islamophobic propaganda. I mean, it's not like they're trying to hide it.
I don't think it was the good ones that got out of your country. I think it was the bad ones. And I think you brought with you your archaic value system and your commitment to religion over democracy and over anything else, including the rule of law.
So after this, Michael has the kid call his other abuser friends to come over, to which he shoots not only the whole family, but also every single kid that comes over as well, one by one. And that's basically the end of the movie. Michael calls the police chief, whom he did end up catching with a pretty pathetic looking VFX explosion, and he lets him know his opinion on the whole thing.
This is an unfriendly takeover by the Islamist extremists and the blind-sided woke left. And if this takeover is successful, it'll destroy the democracy you say you love.
Islamist extremists and the blind-sided woke left. Need I say much more? So what exactly is this movie trying to say? I mean, it is literally inciting and bringing on a call to violence. It is telling people who are sitting at home that if you are tired of these dirty, criminal immigrants and don't feel like there is enough being done to stop them, then you should do something about it yourself. And sure, you could use the argument that violent video games don't make violent children, like director Uwe Boll tried to do.
Look,
People are not flipping out and killing because of movies or video games. That subject matter is closed scientifically for tens of years. So,
which, okay, sure, that's a point. Kids that play GTA 5 maybe aren't being inspired to actually commit Grand Theft Auto, but this movie isn't some non-political fiction fantasy. This is legitimizing a lot of crazy people. Crazy racist people's concerns, urges, and impulses to act on bigotry. This is someone on Twitter admitting that the movie's propaganda makes them completely apathetic to the killing of the entire immigrant family in the movie. I'm a sensitive person, but even I didn't bat an eye when the hero took them out. Why? Because it was a situation that crossed every boundary. You see, Yusuf's family and friends, this guy committed an atrocious crime, and they shamelessly stand by him like a wall. They hide behind some kind of religious fanaticism, talking about principles, about dress codes, making the victim guilty and the rapist untouchable. And at that moment, in steps this guy who just shatters their whole sense of self-assurance, an ideological facade. You'll feel pure, deep satisfaction and relief then, because those people thought their culture or religion gave them immunity for doing evil. That is crazy. That's crazy. That's my only reaction to that is crazy. Uwe, these are the people enjoying your movie. That's the kind of person that actually liked what you made. You're not gonna take accountability for this. People literally aren't grasping that this is a movie and is not real. Liberals are losing their minds over Citizen Vigilante because a rapist and his supportive family get murdered. The cast's reaction? Fake blood, big smiles, and happy selfies like it's a birthday party. Your feelings are noted. Thanks, Greg, but just a friendly reminder that this is a movie. So those are not rapists and no one got murdered. So of course the actors are smiling and happy because they're not dead. And these are just two examples of how this manufactured outrage is affecting people that were already bigoted towards immigrants. But alas, because of Elon Musk's promotion of the film, the support of it, the messaging, and Uwe himself is only growing, with tease of a potential sequel in production. Civilian Vigilante 2. The end of the Somali scams. That is, however, if the price is high enough for Army Hammer, which it seems like he's relatively easy. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, and if you want to help support the channel, then become a channel member. You'll get access to channel perks like new videos early and priority responses to your comments. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.